something like a mythology. So every character has its own backstories, and there are lots of small stories interweaved into one big story. Okay, so I'm not going to go in detail into each one of the backstories, but I'm going to take the central thread and tell you the central story in a way, right? So you're going to have to stay with me, and there might be questions. A lot of them will get resolved as I proceed, and the others you can send it or you can think about it. Yeah. So let's start. So the central figure or thing in the story, as the name suggests, Lord of the Rings, is the ring. So it starts, so there is one ring, it's actually called the One Ring. Okay, this ring, and there are many other smaller rings of power, and these rings have various different kinds of powers, but we are going to focus on this one ring, which is the all-powerful ring which has been forged in secrecy by the evil Dark Lord Sauron. And now this one ring needs to be destroyed. The purpose, what is moving the story forward is that this ring needs to be destroyed, because if currently this ring is not with Sauron, but if it reaches Sauron, it will wreak havoc. So this ring needs to be destroyed, and yes, this whole story is set in a place called Middle-earth. You need to understand that this entire legendarium is fantasy. So the whole setting is fantastical. Doesn't mean it doesn't have connections to our world or our life, but it is set in a place called Middle-earth, and Middle-earth has its own different places, different races of living beings, which we will see as we proceed with the story, right? Okay, so there is this ring, the One Ring, which has been forged in secrecy by the Dark Lord Sauron, and this needs to be destroyed. Now, before we can see how this ring gets destroyed, we need to see where is this ring currently. So let's go to the Shire. The Shire is the place where the hobbits live. Now, hobbits are very short people. They are also called halflings, and they live in a place. The Shire is a secluded place. It's like across the river, and it seems like it's a forgotten place. They don't really have contact with the outside, with the rest of Middle-earth, and they are very satisfied people, simple people, ordinary people. They have a love for growing things, and they are very self-contained in the Shire. They never want to leave the Shire and go anywhere. And they're a community of people, the hobbits. So currently, the ring is in the Shire with a hobbit called Bilbo Baggins. Now, the entire first series in the movies and even in the book, The Hobbit, that is about how this ring reaches Bilbo, and we'll touch upon it a little bit. But for now, you need to know this ring is with Bilbo, and Bilbo has been having it for years and years. So this ring makes a person invisible. So if you wear it, you go invisible. It elongates your life, and if you wear it over like for long periods of time, you start reaching this place which is like an underworld, and it seems like you have some connection with Sauron. So Bilbo has been having this ring for a long time, and now these hobbits are not by nature greedy people. So even though Bilbo has the ring for years and years, he doesn't really use it for anything. He just has it. He's not able to let go of it. He has it, but at one point now he's too tired. He's grown weary of it. He wants to leave everything and go. So he leaves the ring and he goes. So the ring reaches his heir, which is Frodo. The ring then reaches Frodo Baggins, and it is with Frodo Baggins. At this point is when Gandalf, he's a wizard, okay? Gandalf, the white wizard, comes to the Shire for Bilbo's party, and he finds this out, and he convinces Frodo that, Frodo, you need to leave with this ring, and it needs to be destroyed, and he tells him that the little bit the backstory of the ring, and like I told you, Frodo doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to leave comfort, but he does it. He answers that call for adventure, and he does it, and along with him goes his gardener, which is Samwise Gamgee, and they become really the best of friends. And Sam is a very noble character, and along with them go these two other hobbits, Merry and Pippin, who are fun-loving, mischievous hobbits. So all of them set together to take this ring and destroy. They don't know the entire picture yet, but they have set together with the ring. So as they go, as you can imagine, obviously there are going to be hurdles and challenges. If it was so simple, he would have just gone and destroyed it, right? So So there are hurdles, there are problems, and Gandalf is supposed to meet them, but Gandalf gets caught up with another wizard, and that's an entire other backstory, and I'm not going into that. But these people are in problem, and somebody comes to help them. This person is somebody who's been living in the forest, who people don't really know about, and this is Strider. Strider. So later, now let me tell you the backstory of Strider. As the story moves, we discover that Strider is actually Prince Aragorn. Okay, Prince Aragorn is who? He's from the reign of men. So first we saw hobbits, now we're seeing the reign of men. And men sometimes lack courage, sometimes they end up becoming weak in circumstances. So Aragorn's heir, okay, Aragorn's ancestor is Isildur. And Isildur is someone, so when Sauron had the ring, remember we started with how Sauron had forged the ring and he had it. So at a point Sauron had the ring, and Isildur, elves and dwarves together, now elves and dwarves are two other races, they all fought together to take that ring away from Sauron, and in that battle Sauron's finger was cut off, and this ring had reached Isildur, the king of men, and at that point Isildur should have done what? He should have destroyed the ring, but he didn't do that. What did he do? He wore it instead. And as he wore it, then as he was on the way, at some point there's a battle and Isildur also gets killed, and that ring gets lost and it's in the river, and from that river something happens and it reaches Bilbo. But coming back to Aragorn, so Aragorn is really he's very afraid of his past, you know. He's like, how can I trust that I'll have the courage, that I won't get corrupted by the power of the ring? So he leaves everything, he relinquishes everything, he leaves his kingdom, his right to the throne, everything, and he leaves, and he's living like a gypsy. But at some point he's also well intentioned, so he helps Frodo, and at some point Frodo is really hurt because now the evil forces and Sauron's army, they know that the ring exists, they have found it, that it exists with Frodo Baggins, it exists in the shadow, and they're following him. And so Strider, who's Aragorn, is actually helping them, and at some point Frodo gets really badly injured. He needs to be taken, there's only one place where he can find healing. So now we enter the land of the elves. Okay, the elves are immortal. You can think of them as angels, but it's not really that. But they're immortal, and they actually live in a place called Valinor, which is not in Middle-earth. It's basically across the horizon, across the sea. When you go, it's the land of the undying seas, and it's also called Valinor. But in Middle-earth, one of the places where the elves live is called Rivendell. So Frodo reaches Rivendell to seek care. Arwen is the one who's actually the elven princess, the elf king's daughter. Arwen is the one who takes him. And we are now at Rivendell, and at Rivendell we see the elves. And the king of elves is someone called Elrond. Elrond, who was there in that first battle with Isildur, and he has seen how the courage of men has failed once. And he's very concerned, and there is a council that happens at Rivendell as to now what should be done with this ring that they have found. Okay, and at the council there is an agreement that someone needs to take this ring and go destroy it at Mount Doom. So let me pause here and tell you who all are the members are here at this council. So we already know all the hobbits are here, Frodo, Sam, Merry and Pippin. And then there are men, people from the kingdom of men. So there we have Aragorn. And now the kingdom of men is gone. So Aragorn is not there, right? So who is ruling? So there is someone who is ruling in place of the king. That's called the steward, and the steward's sons are Boromir and Faramir. So Boromir, the eldest son of the steward of Gondor, who's currently taking care of Gondor, is there at the council, right? So we have 4 of the hobbits, and then we have Aragorn, we have Boromir, and then we have another elf, not Elrond but Legolas, who's another elf who's part of this council. And then we have to come to another interesting race that exists in Middle Earth, which are the dwarves. Okay, and the first series, like we said, the Hobbit, that's where we meet the dwarves, because Bilbo goes on an adventure to help the dwarves. Now these dwarves are miners, and one of their kingdoms is the Mindz of Moria, and their backstory is that they have mined, and they've dug too deep, and they've at some point unleashed the monster from deep within this monster that's called the Balrog. So they have a backstory, and one dwarf who's present is Gimli. Gimli is the dwarf who's present at this council. Yeah. So these are the people who are present at the council, and they're all talking about who should take this ring, because it's not easy. Because like I said, when you wear the ring, you slowly start getting, that power takes over you. The ring takes power over you, and you slowly start getting influenced by it, corrupted by it, and it's a very painful process to carry that ring and take it for destruction, and it can be destroyed. By the way, it has been forged in the fires of Mount Doom, so it can only be destroyed there. So you have to carry it all the way up till that place in the fires, which is like a volcano, and take it there and destroy it. So it's a very difficult task. And at the council in Rivendell, they're all thinking about this, and Frodo rises to the challenge. Say, I'll do it. And the others then decide to help him, and that's how we have the Fellowship of the Rings forming. And this fellowship decides that they're going to take various roles. Obviously, Gandalf, the wizard, is also part of the fellowship, and they decide they're going to take various roles, and Frodo and his friend Sam are the ones who carry the ring to Mount Doom. So now they're carrying the ring, and what happens? They're going on, and they don't know the way. Okay, they don't know the way how to go inside. So this whole place is called Mordor, where Mount Doom is. Now this is the land of the evil force, Sauron. Okay, so they have to go into Mordor, they have to go inside, they have to destroy them, but they don't know exactly it's not an easy way, right? So they find someone interesting who's going to help them, who knows the way to the fires of Mount Doom. Who is this? This is a creature called Gollum. And who's Gollum? Now we have to go a little bit into a backstory again. So Gollum is someone who had the ring. After the ring got destroyed from Isildur, remember Isildur, the king of men? Yeah? So it got removed from his finger, and then it fell in the river. It reached someone called Gollum, and from Gollum is where it reached Bilbo. So let me tell you Gollum's backstory. Gollum is this character who is the one that we see who's totally attached to the ring, and he's completely under the power of the ring, and for him there is nothing else more precious than the ring. And Gollum, by the way, was a type of hobbit long back. There were two brothers called Smeagol and Deagol, and they were fishing, and they found the ring, and once they found the ring, they fought over it, and in that fight and that rivalry and greed for the ring, Smeagol ended up killing Deagol, and he has carried the ring ever since. And as he was carrying it, he started getting more and more, he started isolating himself and secluding himself, and he's living in caves. And just imagine his state, where he has this guilt of having killed his brother, and that is slowly turning him to shame. He can't tell anyone. He has this ring, and he's totally addicted to the power of this ring, but at the same time he's not using that power, he just keeps the ring. At some point in the book it says that it actually hurts him when he wears it, but he still kept it. And with that whole misery, he lived for years and years, up till the point where Bilbo finds the ring, and he still, the ring still has power over Gollum. And now Gollum knows that Frodo has this ring, and he doesn't know for sure, but he has a hint. And Gollum is torn actually, and Frodo is a very interesting character because he shows so much kindness, because as soon as they find Gollum, Sam doesn't trust Gollum. Sam says, no, we can't trust him. And Frodo says, I know who you are. And Gandalf told me about you. You were not so very different from a hobbit once. I know your name, Smeagol, right? He calls his name. And when he does that, Imagine this creature who doesn't even look like anything now, and nobody knows who he is, and his name has become Gollum. Gollum after a cough, because Gollum, like that, his name has become Gollum. And suddenly somebody calls him by his name, Smeagol, and Gollum's eyes light up, and he wants to trust Frodo. So he's in this tone, but there's a voice inside him that says, no, don't trust him. So he's toned like that, and the journey goes on. And eventually Gollum does help them. Gollum also deceives them in some parts where he's not able to trust Frodo. And Sam is the character, the underrated, unexpected hero, really shines through. And there's a point when Frodo is starting to get very weary, very tired by this ordeal of carrying the ring, and at some point he's also starting to get enamored by the power of the ring. You know, we see him sleeping at night and just looking at the ring, and he's getting influenced, he's getting tired, he's getting attacked, and at some point he can't do it anymore, and he can't carry it. And Sam asks him if he can carry the ring, but nobody else can carry the ring. So Sam tells him that, you know, I may not be able to carry the ring for you, but I can carry you. And he literally carries him up to a certain point, you know. So this is what happens, and so they finally, after all of this, lots of things more happen. I'm cutting it short, but they reach the volcano, Mount Doom. And now Frodo has to do what? He has to destroy the ring. He has to just throw it, chuck it into the fire. But what happens? He has a moment of weakness. Okay, and when he's just about to, he wears it. My precious. He can't bring himself to destroy it. At that point, Gollum is still there. Gollum is not dead. Frodo didn't kill Gollum. Frodo could have killed Gollum. He didn't kill Gollum. And the wizard had told him that maybe Gollum also has a part to play. And so Frodo's won the ring, and Gollum comes and catches it, and he takes it, and he falls into the fire with the ring. And the ring is destroyed, Gollum is killed, and it kind of everything restores. Sauron's powers are gone, everything restores. But we have to remember, and if the fellowship goes through a lot, members of the fellowship do die, they go through a lot, Frodo goes through a lot, and when they come back to the Shire after this entire adventure, Frodo, they show that Frodo is too hurt, he's changed forever, and he can't live in the Shire anymore. He doesn't have the place there, so he has to go to the land of the Undying Seas, to Valinor, along with the others, which is the wizard and Bilbo, and this is what happens.